what, an election night, and Donald Trump may have just saved the gaming industry while destroying it. And I know what you're talking about. How is that possible? How could he save the gaming industry while destroying it? Well, the reaction that we're seeing from gaming industry insiders towards the election night results are staggering, where we have many gaming social media outlets to developers posting up their hatred, their frustration, and overall exasperation and disgust with the election of Donald Trump as the 47th president. I think that's the thing that is gonna change the gaming industry for the worse before it gets better. And that's why I say Donald Trump saved the gaming industry while destroying it, because he saved it by showing that the majority of America is starkly in contrast to the people that are trying to dictate social behavior. What we see from all the Hollywood elitists, all the liberal Washington bureaucrats, everyone that wants to point the culture in a different direction, that is the opposite of what the American people want. I think that's what we're seeing with Donald Trump's election right now, a repudiation of those bureaucratic elites and Hollywood socialists. And that is the thing that we're seeing right now, and the reaction is spreading to the people that have the same mindset within the gaming industry. And that's why we're seeing this type of meltdown reaction online by these activists, where they're just frustrated with the reality that a lot of people just don't agree with what they want from the gaming world. And we're getting that reaction in its complete glory because we have social media reactions from these people. And I think that is the result of this election, a repudiation of these Hollywood elitists, these bureaucrat donors, everyone that has this position where they want to push the culture in a direction that is the antithesis of the American way. And that's what we're seeing from this election. I think that is going to garner a harsh reaction from the people that have been supposedly in power for a long time right now. They're going to double down on the craziness that we've been seeing in the video gaming industry. We're going to get uglier models, uglier gameplay, terrible stories about representation, equity, and inclusion, when in actuality the gamers want something that is more pure and true to their sensibilities, something that is beautiful, engaging, and overall just simply fun to play. But of course, the social media response that we're seeing from the developers over this is a very stark contrast. We're getting a massive reaction from developers like Blizzard, like EA, BioWare. They're having a big reaction to this overall situation, where they're saying we're going to double down on the things that we want because we feel like the American people are going the wrong way. They're even going more fanatical into this DEI philosophy because they feel even more victimized by seeing that the majority of the people in the country really don't want what they're selling. I think that is going to lead to a massive increase of productions more focused on progressive ideologies, woke DEI goals, and things related to that. And we're seeing that play out at Blizzard, where these people are losing their minds. They're breaking down, saying they feel sick. They want to do something within the gaming industry to change that. And we're going to see that result in more terrible games, more terrible content, and more bankruptcies in a time where the economy is probably going to be exploding in every other sector. And it's just going to be untenable and unrealistic for these people to continue on in this direction, especially when the rest of the country is having such a boom time. So I think this is going to accelerate the destruction of the video gaming industry in such a rapid pace, where if you're not smart enough to change and pivot like some industry insiders are actually doing, you're going to be wiped out of the map within 2 years, because the sentiments in society have changed when it concerns DEI, BIPOC representation, all these other elements. People are tired of it. People want something of quality, and that's what we're getting with this most recent election. Of course, the activists on gaming social media websites and review sites are still going on pandering, calling the gamers the worst slurs in the book, and I think that doubling down is apparent in their reaction to this election, where they're saying, we're going to go even further. We know that you're evil, and we're going to perpetuate that thought out there, but it's going to be a failing idea, because we saw what happened within this election alone when the 47th president was called every slur in the book, and he still won. And I think this is going to be a repeat of that within the gaming industry of the 47th presidential election, where they're going to use all the same tactics that lost them the election on the gamers for the next 2 to 4 years, and it's going to lose them the video gaming industry. And I see this repeating out because they're so stuck in their philosophies that they can't see anything beyond that, because they are following something that's very dogmatic and almost religious. And you can see in their response response right here, where they see any supporters of any opposite cause as deranged lunatics that need to be re-educated. And they have this socialist communistic mindset when it comes to their opposition, where they are the pure ones that are always right. And I think that is the frustration we're going to see build up in the gaming industry for the next few years, where they're going to try to exact their vengeance on the gamers for this loss. And I think it's going to be a glorious and blazing failure what they're going to do, and it's going to lead to a development of an actual true gaming industry that is catering to the fan base. You can see all the activists online lamenting and getting desperate and looking for a way to actually insert their version of change. And we saw this during the 2016 and 2020 presidential era with the 45th president Trump. And I think they did the same thing. They jolted the activism in everything that they did, and it led to disastrous consequences that followed years later, from 2019 all the way to 2024, where we're seeing terrible products come out consistently that the gamers and everyone else is rejecting in its entirety. And I think we're going to see more of that, especially with the new Mass Effect coming out. We're seeing this already with multiple properties within Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed Shadows, Boss says they're going to double down on DEI, racial and identity politics, for Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is already looking like a massive failure, and it seems like they're going to go forward with that massive failure regardless of the consequences, because now it's an ideological, philosophical war with their own customer base, which is absolutely absurd and stupid, and would be seen as a crazy idea in the 1960s when marketing was gold, where you were trying to please your customer base. But now it's the standard in modern day marketing and video game development, where you go attack the gamer base and you show your outright disrespect to them and expect them to buy your product. And this is the situation we're in. They have utter contempt for their audience, and they're gonna show more contempt for them in the future. When you can see the results of all these people coming out attacking anyone that has voted against their own personal philosophy, and not even seeing them as human beings. I think this is the result of a country that is highly divided, and it's going to continue to be divided. But ultimately, everything is coming to a head, and I think Trump most likely destroyed the video gaming industry for the next 4 years. But in him destroying the video gaming industry for the next 4 years, he ultimately saved it, because all these companies that are going to ratchet up their political progressive talking points in every single game they're putting out are going to go bankrupt, and those game companies will now have to pivot or just not exist anymore. And I think a lot of companies will pivot even just after this election alone, because they see, oh, the majority of people actually like this thing, and maybe we need to make money in order to survive. And I think that's ultimately the positive thing that we're getting out of this election. But maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you think this is gonna lead to the ultimate glory days of the video gaming industry in an instant. Hope we get all the beautiful designs, everything we wanted to see that we saw in early gaming. I hope that's the case. We get it instantly. People revamp it, things in 2 years. We get a golden age in the gaming industry. But I think that's a far time away. I think that's going to happen maybe in 2027, 2028, because it takes a long time to produce games and pivot away from a terrible idea. So we have to wait a while, but I think by 2028, we're going to be entering a new golden age of gaming. And I think we have to thank Trump and this election for that, because if he didn't win, I think we would be stuck in this kind of woke era, because they would get confirmation that the majority of society agrees with their views, but they didn't get that, and now they may have to change their minds, or at least try to make money. But that's just my 2 cents on the situation. Maybe you disagree with me. Let me hear what you have to say. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.